thanks again for being with me and giving me some of your time for this. The first question I just have to ask, because I'm curious, aerospace engineering. That sounds so difficult and complex. What brought you to that? Is it like a love for flight? Is it just an interest in the subject? What made you choose that for a concentration?
I've always been interested in, it's about airplanes, of course. I've always been interested in them and building and designing them. And then growing up, I've always been good at math and science, so it's just a perfect mix between the two.
Makes sense. Oh my God, that sounds so complex. Like, I love building and working with my hands, but engineering, the numbers, it was just.
It is a lot of numbers, that's for sure.
Yeah, it sounds
just
dumb.
go every which way, it feels like.
So tell me a little bit about an average day at UT for you. Just, there's training, there's, conditioning, there's, then there's the academics and everything. So what's the average day like for Josh?
Average day, wake up around 8. All my classes usually start at 9. So I have class from 9 to 2. I'll eat breakfast before it and then eat lunch somewhere in between, wherever I can fit it in. Then about usually 2:15, 2:30, get to the complex. We either have team meetings, workouts, position meetings, anything football related we probably have between then 2:15 to about 7. So finish at 7, shower, go to dinner, and then I come to Thornton, and then I'm usually at Thornton about 2 hours, so usually till about 9:30. Then after that, go back to my dorm and get ready for the next day.
There's just enough time in there for sleep.
Right.
Balance and everything else. Now, how does the Thornton Center make things a little easier for you in the terms of preparing you for how to balance a hectic schedule, to help you with classes, to help you to learn how to balance all this on your own?
It does a lot for me personally. My academic advisor is Brian Russell, and he's one of the head advisors here along with others, but he does a great job of helping me not only schedule my classes and get into the classes I want, but also lay out my schedule so I know when I have my classes, of course, and then workouts, and then setting me up with mentors and tutors in my specific subject areas to help me out when I come to Thornton.
That's great. Now, I read that you have just a wonderful attendance record for class, and that has conflicted a little bit with some flights. I thought I read a story in UT saying that you may have missed a flight or been late for one or had to do standby because the class schedule, and that's such a great thing to make that attendance. Has that ever gotten you a little ribbing or anything when you're late for something just because you're attending class?
No, it hasn't. And usually I'm usually not the only one now who's late because of classes, because some classes you just have to schedule and they kind of run to the beginning of football. But I don't have many classes like that, so I've lucked out so far. So
good. Good. I'm glad to hear it, because you got enough going on that it's hard to balance it. I talked to Dr. Scogan. He told me about some of the programs Thornton has that ease the transition from high school to college. Now, how has the transition been for you? I talked to Megan. She is from Knoxville. She grew up wearing orange. You're from Georgia, so maybe you didn't, weren't as familiar with the area. What was the transition like from you?
it wasn't too bad. It just occurred extremely fast. I graduated on a Thursday and then came to college the next Monday. So it was all a whirlwind. But once I got here, the athletics, the academics, and then the Thornton Center did a great job of getting us acclimated to the different environment. So at the Thornton Center, when we came in over the summer, every Tuesdays we had a freshman seminar where we learned about various things such as just how to get around campus, to just being smart in your social life, to just various things. And then luckily I'm able to have my car up here, so I was able to figure out the area, so that helped a lot. So for me, it wasn't too bad. It was just the fact that it happened so quickly right after graduation. That was the only thing, but I can't complain at all.
Yeah, kind of just an overnight switch.
Right.
Boom, high school, boom, college.
Correct, yeah.
Now, and you had plenty of schools courting you, trying to get you to come to them. Now, were resources like the Thornton Center help in your decision to come to UT?
Oh yeah, definitely, especially with my major being aerospace engineering. When I came on my visit, Thornton was definitely an aspect that separated Tennessee, just having a place where I know I can go every night and get help that I need in different subject matters was huge for me personally. I know it helps out a lot of people. So just having this building, having this resource it definitely helped me in my decision making to choose UT.
Great. Now one of the things when they helping schedule for student athletes, helping make things easier, it's got to let some of that pressure off. Because I talked to Megan, that was one thing we talked about, is just the pressure on student athletes. You're asked to achieve in so many different fields. Tell me a little bit about, that pressure that comes with it.
I wouldn't really say it's pressure per se. I would just say that being a student athlete, of course, you know what you're signing up for. You have a lot on your plate. The coaches have high expectations for you. You have even higher expectations of yourself, and then your parents are pushing you even harder. So growing up, you're of course used to it, and then coming to college is just elevated to another level. So I mean, it just calls into play. You just have to be smart with your time, great time management skills, just be on task, can't get behind in class or on the sports because then you'll never catch up. So it basically comes down to just being smart, managing your time, and then if you do that, you'll be successful.
That's good. That's a great answer too. I mean, I can just look back on times where I wasn't, and I'm sure a lot of people can, managing and being smart enough to know what you're doing is right. It just makes the world
I
easier.
agree. I'm guilty of that too. So.
We all are. I think everyone just learns at some point. The quicker you learn, the better.
Right, right.
I was telling my girlfriend, if my first 4.0 I've ever seen in any facet of school was here in graduate school. So I'm like, I don't know, maybe my girlfriend Sam is the one that's kicking my
Right,
butt
she's
to
helping you out, so
yeah, I think that's.
can't complain.
I came home with a B, like for some paper. She's like, why isn't it an A?
Just like your mom.
Yeah. But
A B?
yeah,
Yeah.
she's just busting my chops. What kind of goals do you have for yourself past UT? Where do you see yourself in 4 years? I mean, certainly NFL, Boeing, working with these things. What kind of things, or a combination of both certainly too.
Right.
Like plan for a career after sports, and you plan for getting the career in sports as well. What do you see for yourself?
My goal is to play in the NFL, and then after a good, successful career in the NFL, my goal is to go into the engineering field, such as working for a Boeing or Lockheed Martin, or just various companies, or even potentially starting my own company. So, just first, my goal is of course play in the NFL, and then get my education for afterwards to go into a field that I love just as much as I love football.
That's awesome. So it's getting a degree. Is that something that you have set that you want to do? And it's hard to say. The future has what it has. Certainly, players with NFL ambitions might go a little early, and there's plenty of stories of some coming back to get degrees as well. Is getting a degree something that you really want to make sure you accomplish at UT?
Oh yeah, definitely. And I'm lucky I came in with a lot of credits beforehand, so I'm already extremely ahead of a normal track to get an aerospace engineering degree. So that will give me time to also, if I want to, get a business minor. So coming in has helped me a lot. Coming in with a lot of credits has helped me a lot to go towards that degree. So like next semester, even though it's just my second year here, I'll be already taking junior classes. So that will help a lot to get a degree. But my goal definitely is to get a degree before I leave here.
That's so great that I'm just very. It's refreshing to know how focused you are on all these facets, and it's awesome. To get these classes in advance, to be taking junior, I don't know, that's just really impressive. But now, what do you think the Thornton Center has done for you, not just as a student, but I talked with Dr. Scogan about trying to make people, just a more productive person, just more responsible, able to handle things. What kind of things has Thornton Center done for you?
It just forces you to come in and knock out your work and just learn when to, I guess, just like adjust your mind from going from the athletic field to coming in and just finishing your work. because we have a thing as freshmen, we're required to get a certain amount of hours, which is really good. So you learn how to study, how to manage your time, how to knock out all your assignments and get ahead. And then as you get more successful in class, you have less Thornton. But with that, that doesn't mean you don't have to come to Thornton. You can still obviously use it as a resource anytime you want. So I feel like Thornton pushes you to be successful, and then once you get there, it's always there for you to use as a resource. So.
That's awesome. What are the people like at the Thornton Center? Dr. Scogan was as nice and accommodating as possible. Megan said, there's so much. She gets help from people that aren't even in the position originally to help her. Everyone's reaching out to benefit you. So what's the staff? What are the people like here at the Thornton Center?
Oh, they're amazing. They always, from the people greet you when you walk in the door, always with a smile on your face, to every academic advisor, to just the people around the building. I mean, tutors, even if they're not your tutor, they're always willing to help you. Other players, other sports players, they're willing to help you with your homework. So it's just a really good community where everyone's looking out for each other.